The first filter we're going to go over in today's snipe filter video is the small forward invincible filter, man. Set your position to small forward, put your theme to invincible, and you're going to raise your maximum buyout up until you find the cheapest Grant Hill on your console. So an Xbox is going for about 24,000 MT. You can sell them for. Grant Hill pops up very often, man, for like 20k, 18k, man, 19k. I've seen a ton of them. So just keep refreshing on here with the cheapest Grant Hill up. You want to grab Grant Hill for about 20k and below. The next cheapest card on here is Danny Granger, goes for about 28,000, man. I say to grab him for about 22k and below. And then if anybody else pops up, man, buy them. You can see Isaac, Lamar Odom, a lot of more expensive cards on this filter. So snipe anybody else, grab the two cheaper ones for 20k or 22k and below. Before we get into the rest of the snipe filters, let's go. Look at that, man. We just got Lamar Odom on my last refresh, man. We'll go ahead and keep that in there. I was waiting for that to load, and here we go. For the most reliable and cheapest 2k23 MT, hit up my sponsor at NBA2king.com and use code GRINDS for 5% off. The next filter we're going to go over is the power forward invincible filter. Set your position to power forward, put your theme to invincible. You're going to raise your maximum buyout up until you find the cheapest card on your console, man. Pau Gasol, Chris Bosh, and Blake Griffin all go for about 30-ish, 32k, man. I would suggest you scroll on the cheapest invincible power forward, which is right now Chris Bosh, going for about 30k. Snipe, Bosh, Blake Griffin, and Pau Gasol if they pop up for about 25,000 MT and below. If anyone else pops up, man, like Giannis or anybody else, grab them at this price point and they are profit, man. So spend some time on this filter. It's one of the low-key filters, man. The next filter we're going to go over is the center invincible filter, man. Set your position as center, put your theme to invincible. You're going to raise your maximum buyout up until you find the cheapest center on your console. Invincible, man. Marc Gasol, DeMarcus Cousins both go for around 35,000 MT, man. You want to scroll again with the cheapest one up, grab Marc Gasol, grab Boogie Cousins if they pop up for 30,000 MT and below. And then if anybody else pops up on your scroll, go ahead and pick them up for any price point as they are profit, man. This is my favorite invincible filter in the game, so give it a try, man. The next filter we got to go over is the center dark matter wizards filter, man. I'm telling you guys, I cannot emphasize how great this filter is, man. What you want to do is set your position to center, your color to dark matter, and your team to wizards. You're gonna scroll your maximum buyout up until you find the cheapest Kristaps Porzingis on your console. This one's a badged up one. I could maybe sell it. It's got 7 extra hops, but we'll just leave it there, man. Go ahead and scroll on the cheapest Kristaps Porzingis on your console, man. Grab KP. He's going for 7,300, man. You want to grab him if he pops up for 6k and below. Maybe do 5,500 if you want some extra profit, because his price he varies from like 6,500 to 7,500 MT KP all the time, man. So refresh on the cheapest one, grab them so you make profit, but just make sure you're grabbing them for at least 1,000 MT, cheaper than the cheapest one. If Manute Bol Invincible pops up, or if George Mirison pops up, you can see both those cards on this filter. Obviously buy them as quick as possible because they're both very expensive, man. I did snipe a Mirison the other day for 6k on this filter. So spend some time on here, man. KP pops up a ton. You make a lot of profit just sniping him, and then if you get a better snipe, you're making tons of profit, man. The next filter we're going to go over is the small forward Pacers filter, man. All these filters, it's the end of the year. We got all end games, which means none of the like budget filters will have changed this week. So we got to go over all the best ones, man. They're probably going to be good for the rest of the year. It's the small forward Pacers filter. Set your position as small forward. Put your color to dark matter. Set your team to Pacers, man. You're going to raise your maximum buyout up until you find the cheapest Jonathan Bender on your console, who's all the way back up to 7,500 MT already, man. You can either scroll on this because you can also snipe Invincible Danny Granger on this filter, which does happen, man. I know a few people told me they sniped him. If he pops up for cheap, obviously grab him. Or what I just do, I don't really worry about scrolling for Danny Granger for whatever reason. I just bring my maximum buyout down to 6,000 MT. Just keep refreshing here, snipe anything that pops up, man, and resell it for profit. The next filter we're going to go over is the Manute Bol Hardscope filter, man. Set your name to Manute Bol. Put your color to dark matter, man. This card is still very expensive, going for over 200,000 MT. I think it goes for about 250k on Xbox, man. So put your name in Manute Bol, your color to dark matter, put your minimum buyout to 500, and just keep refreshing, man. If Manute Bol pops up for 100,000, 80,000, any price point he pops up for while you have your minimum buyout set to 500, go ahead and pick it up and you're making tons of profit, man. He has been popping up a decent amount, man. So spend some time on this filter. The next filter we're gonna go over is the Invincible cheapest filter, man. Set your theme to Invincible. You're gonna raise your maximum buyout up until you find the cheapest Invincibles on your console, which on Xbox is going for about 20,500 MT, man. Again, I always suggest when there's more expensive cards to scroll on the cheapest ones so you have the best chance to see any of the more expensive Invincibles, man. So scroll on the cheapest Drazden Petrovich or whoever the heck the cheapest card is on your console, man. You want to snipe Drazden or any of these cheap ones like Grant Hill. Trying to think who all is cheap, man. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't checked Invincible prices in a while. Grab those for about 15,000 MT and below. If you know someone expensive like Shaq, Kobe, MJ, man, any of the expensive Invincibles you're certain sell for a lot of MT, go ahead and grab them for any price point on the scroll you're working, and then just grab everybody else if they pop up for 15,000 MT and below. The next filter we're gonna go over is the Bulbolt Dark Matter cheapest filter, man. This filter is still phenomenal. It's gonna be good for the rest of the year, man. What you wanna do is set your name to Bulbolt, put your color to Dark Matter. You're gonna raise your maximum bout up until you find the cheapest Bulbolt on your console, man. This one's hoffed up. I'm pretty sure it's got 5 extra hoffs. I don't want to risk it right now, man. You want to scroll on the cheapest interdimensional Bulbolt, man. Grab him if he pops up for about 4,000 or 5,000 MT, cheaper than the cheapest one. So right now I'd probably grab him for 20k and below. Maybe I'd do 19k and below just to make sure we get profit. So you want to snipe interdimensional Bulbolt for 19k and below if he pops up, and grab the hero Bulbolt for any price if it pops up on your scroll, and obviously grab the endgame Bulbolt for any price if he pops up on your scroll. This filter's still great. Yao Ming filter's still great, man. We haven't gone over them in a couple snipe filter videos, so we had to drop the Bulbolt one. It's my favorite. So spend some time on here and get guaranteed profit, man. It's pretty easy and it's a little low key, man. The next filter we're gonna go over is the George Mirasan filter, man. Hard scope filter. This filter is got tons of potential to make tons of MT on this filter, man. I know a lot of snipes were popping up on here for 10k and below earlier, man. What you want to do is set your name to George Mirasan. Put your color to Dark Matter. You're gonna raise your maximum bout up until you find the cheapest George Mirasan on your console, which on the Xbox is going for about 50,000 MT right now. I would bring my maximum buyout down to 40,000 MT. As you see, those cards for 50k have been up for like 30 minutes and no one's bought them. So I'll put my max buyout to 40k, snipe anything that pops up, and then I'd probably post mine for like 48,000 just to make sure it sells quickly. We don't want to have MT tied up for 30 minutes waiting for it to sell for like 49,950. So I post mine up for a couple thousand MT cheaper just so it sells quick and we can get back on the filters. But spend some time on here, man. He's a season 8 Dark Matter, so everybody's gonna think he's 4,000 MT, man, and throw him up for stupid cheap. The next filter we're gonna go over is the Endgame Atlantic filter, man. This is a great option if you can't afford to enable or just don't want to, man. Set your theme to Endgame, put your division to Atlantic, and you're gonna set your minimum buyout to 500. Gonna keep refreshing. Obviously you have one Larry Bird up right now. If you're on PlayStation, perhaps you need to enable Larry Bird. I'm guessing there's more of him as a buyout on PlayStation. Just keep refreshing here. There are some cards you want to avoid. Obviously Larry Bird, don't pick up, man. There's a lot of good cards you can see on here though, like Taco, Ben, KP. Irving is a mid snipe, man. You want to avoid Tatum, avoid Larry Bird, and I mean we'll just monitor Julius Irving's pricing because he could go down to being ending for like 100k, man. But work this filter. It's a good option if you don't want to enable. The next filter we're gonna go over is the Endgame cheapest filter, man. We are reaching the point of the year where this filter is gonna start being the main filter, man, with a lot of pop-ups. What you want to do is set your theme to Endgame. You're gonna raise your maximum bout up until you find the cheapest Endgame on your console, which on the Xbox is JR, going for about 86,500 MT, man. I do suggest that you scroll, as I always do, on the cheapest cards, so that way you have the best chance to snipe, you know, like a Taco or whatever. If you bring your maximum buyout down to 70k and Taco Fall pops up for 82,000, you're not going to see it and you're going to be really mad because that is definitely a big snipe, man. So scroll with the cheapest one up. I would grab any of the cheap cards, man. D-Wade, Tim Duncan, JR, Paolo, man. Grab them if they pop up for about 12,000 MT, cheaper than the cheapest one, man. So I would grab them for about 74,000 MT if they pop up, just to make sure we can guarantee profit. And then grab anybody expensive that you know is a snipe, man. But spend some time on this filter, man. It's going to start getting very active. And the last filter we're going to go over is the Endgame Enable filter, man. These are all the cards that I have and own for the Endgame filter. You need to buy most of these. Any of the buyout endgames that are buyouts on your console, you need to buy the cheapest version of them, man. Larry Bird, we technically don't need. There was only one up. Scottie Pippen, Jimmy Butler, probably don't need. I went ahead and grabbed them just because they don't sell for profit, man. Dwayne, Anthony Davis, Paulo, Luka, JR, Hakeem, David Robinson, Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Garnett, and that is it, man. That's who I have bought. And then you're gonna head over here. If you're on Xbox, man, it's super easy. All you gotta do is set your theme to Endgame. You're gonna put your minimum buyout to 500 and turn on enabled. Make sure if you have any expensive endgames in your collection that you send them to your auctions anytime you're sniping, otherwise you will never see them. Like if you own a Yao Ming, they'll never pop up once you turn on enabled unless you send them to your auctions while you're sniping. If you're on PlayStation, man, you can try raising your minimum bid up to 100,000 MT, man. The key is to make sure you have less than 80 cards up before you turn on enabled. So if you were on PlayStation, you set your theme to endgame, put your minimum bid to 100K, your minimum buyout to 500, and you're going to go through and count each one of these cards and make sure that it's less than 80 cards that are up for sale before you turn on enabled. If it's less than 80, you're good to go. You can just go ahead and put on enabled and keep refreshing, man. If it's more than 80, you might need to find a scroll, find a card that you can scroll on that isn't so long of a scroll. You know, maybe there's like 3 up or something, man. Find a scroll that you can work on PlayStation, man. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Smash that like button if you did. If you guys want to see the crazy video we dropped on Sunday sniping at crazy endgame starting 5, click the video that's popping up on screen. J Grinds out.